our channel, Loving Handcrafts by BMW. This is Brenda. So I am very pleased to be bringing you a project that was inspired by Gina K. I was taking a look at her video, just trying to get inspired. So let's say that. So I wanted to do some ink blending, some scenes, trying to get into the Christmas spirit. And I was intrigued because Miss Gina was using a stencil, and I've never done use this type of stencil before, and I've never actually attempted what she was attempting, which was ink blending, making a night scene or a wintry scene, and then using a oval stencil. Well, I went to go look for it, and of course it was sold out. So I said, well, I think I can recreate, make my own stencil in Design Space. So I'm going to walk you through that process just in case you see a stencil. It's not anything too overly ornate. It's just a couple of shapes that are in Design Space for ovals and squares. So what I'm going to do, since I've already done it, I'm going to start a new project and we'll just start afresh. I'm going to hit save on that, and then we're just going to replace it. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do, so I decided that I was modeling my stencil off of hers, and I'll give her all credit. I didn't come up with this design, but it's going to be a 6x6 stencil. So I'm going to go in and pick out shapes, and then I'm going to select the square, so this shape here. And once it pulls up, I'm going to change it to that. And then while I'm in here, let me just grab the oval too. Those are the shapes you're going to need. Okay, so that's all that it is. I'm going to move this out the way, and then I'm going to move this here. So I am going to change the color firstly to white, and then under size for height and width, I'm just going to make it a 6. So it's going to proportionally change this to a 6x6. So that's the start. Now she had some indentations or some indicators for different card sizes. So we're going to add those lines as well. So I'm going to select another square. So I'm going to go grab that one. Or better yet, I can just duplicate this one because this is going to be the same thing. And then I'm going to change this to my largest square, which is going to be 4 1/4 by, and then I'll untake that. I don't need the proportional, so I'm going to do the unlock for my size by, okay, come back, my 5.5. Okay, that's going to go here. So let me get it in the center because I'm anal like that first. Okay, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit the duplicate icon again. Bear with me, there's method to my madness. Then this is going to be 3.75 by 5. Okay, so if you get again, this is just a stencil. So if you are using that card size, basically this will get the get you things aligned properly. So that would be one. And then I'm going to duplicate that square again. Oops, I duplicated the whole thing. I just used my Control Z to undo. I'm on my keyboard. So let me click that again. I'll change this size. Undo the sizing, the unproportional lock. I'll unlock it because now I need to make this another size. And this will be 3.5 by 4.7. So that'll give you the things that you need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this out the way. Let's get these all lined up to each other, all smack dab in a row. So there, let's just make sure they're all, I think they should be all, okay, they're all good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight all of these. And then I'm going to go to operations. And then under that, I'm going to turn it into a, whoops, I got to switch out my machine. Let's go to the Maker 3. Now back to operations. And I'm going to make those into scores. Okay, beautiful. And I'm going to put my main item here. So my 6x6 size, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're all centered together. So that is, for all intents and purposes, I will be cutting this out, and I have some plastic. It's pretty heavy mill plastic that I can actually cut on my Cricut and turn it into a stencil. It's not opaque, it's clear. I didn't think about getting opaque. But this works for my purposes in terms of creating this stencil and using what I already have. So that's that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight all of these layers, and then I'm going to make sure that it is attached. Okay, so that's like the basics. So you have your your stencil here. Then you have your alignment guides for your card panels or your card fronts. Now I need to take this guy here, and I'm going to try to flip it and rotate it or do something. Let me turn it. Let's do 90. Okay, yeah, 90. Okay. So I rotated 90 degrees. Now this needs to come to the front. And then I'll just make it a little color just for ease of purpose. It's going to go in here. But I don't like, it's not big enough. So I'm going to do is do the unlock. And then grab one of these handlebars. And I want to keep it in an oval. So I'm just pulling it down till I get to a shape and size. This is where you can make it your own. So if you look at this center line here, this innermost score line, that's what I'm judging. How much space do I want between this line and that line? That's the thing. And then you want to make sure you keep it in an oval kind of shape. Okay, that looks pretty decent to me. And then this is, again, it's no right or wrong. So I'm going to highlight get both layers and make sure, whoops, hold on, let's do this the other way. Let's see, nope, it's this one. I want to make sure this and this is centered. Okay, now it's in there. Okay, that looks about good. Now you could decide if you want more space or less space in between these two. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the scores, because now the score lines, I'm just going to hide them because I just need to get the square and the oval. I just need to have 2 layers because I want to do is slice. If I left the score lines on, then this slice button here at the bottom would not enable. So I'm just going to click slice. Now I've effectively put a hole in the stencil, and then I will just turn these back on. Okay, now they're probably behind the white, so I will highlight it. So I use my left, whatever it is, the left or the right mouse key, I can't remember on the mouse. And then I will just send that to the back. Now everything's back in place. I'm going to keep this. I think these should be the same size. You can keep one of these as a mask. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to. I'm going to hang on to them. Just going to hang on to one, just in case you need an extra mask. I don't need both. So I will delete this one. Whoops, I didn't mean to delete. Okay, and delete. Okay, so I'll hang on to that and just hide that. Then I'm going to go back and make sure everything's together. What? So, nope, not together. So let's go back and make sure I attach everything. So it's like it's one thing, it's all attached. So for all intents and purposes, you have just made your own stencil. Now I haven't done this with any other shapes. If you have, but the principle remains. Any shapes or images, anything that you think you can make a stencil, I mean, it just remains the same. I mean, anything that you can bring in, it can just be, anything that you think you could do a stencil with, and any images. And if you have design access, Cricut access, then I'm sure you have access to a lot of stuff. So it just depends. And then also, if you're not interested in creating your own stencil, you can just type in stencil, and then there you go. You can cut out your own stencils and make your own designs. But this is what I was doing today. So when you're looking through your items here, you can select whatever. I mean, the sky's the limit, basically. So just so you know, I haven't actually created my own stencils a lot, but that looks interesting. The mandalas, those look interesting for the snowflake. Let's pull that one in. That would be a really good stencil I saw. So yeah, I'm gonna hang on to that one. Just because, let me go back up. I also saw something else. Can I bookmark that? I'm gonna go ahead and bookmark that. I'm gonna bookmark this. While I'm in here, you might as well bookmark some things. Oh, there's a lovely snowflake. Don't like that part. Let's see. I like that. Okay, I'm done. I'll do this on my own time, but you kind of get the idea. If you're in here and you're looking around, you're not ready to commit, go ahead and bookmark a few things. That way, oh, that's lovely too. We can cut, you can do some contouring some things out. Okay, but I'm going to hang on to that one. And I'm going to close this because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to close this. Okay, and then I'm going to collapse that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to hide this just because I don't want to print that out just yet or cut that out. I apologize. So I'm going to hide this, and then this is what I'm left with. So I'm going to go to make, and yes, I do want to save my project. Let me call it a name. Yes, coming. So let's call it oval stencil. And then we'll call it that. And then we'll just hit save. Okay, so I have that one. Alright, so everything looks, all good. It looks like how I want it. It's all on one layer. So I've got my score, and then I got my basic cut. I'm going to click continue. And I can't remember because, let's see, whoops. My doodad's not on. I always forget. 1 second. My maker's not on. It turned it on. See, I knew it was going to grouse at me. I knew it was going to grouse. So let me redo this again. Let me select my maker. And you can select you can browse all material. And let's see, this is what I'm using is like craft plastic. So I'm just gonna look for, you know what, instead of doing all of that, let's go to the top and let's just type in all materials, and then I'll just type in plastic, PLASTIC. And this is what I get. It's not plastic canvas. I guess I could use plastic packaging. I'd probably go ahead and use acetate and then do more. And then if you have a scoring wheel, then I would use your scoring wheel. And then you would be good to go. Now, if it doesn't come out properly, if it doesn't cut all the way through this plastic I'm about to show you when I bring you down to my work surface, then you can just run it through again. So let me bring you over to my work surface, because to save time for this video, I've already cut it out. So I'm going to bring you to my work surface so you can take a look at what I've done. Okay, so I've already cut it out. Let me show you what I used. I had this in my stash for quite a while. It's a clear plastic, so it's craft plastic. It's 0.007. I'm not sure what all this means, but it's pretty heavy duty, kind of thick plastic. It's not your, it's pretty thick. I'm not sure what that microns are, but it's a 12 by 12 sheet. You can definitely use this for, in addition to doing stencils, you can actually use it for your shaker cards too. Makes great shaker windows. So that's what I used, and it's 6 by 6, and I'm going to kind of tilt it so you can kind of see in the light that there are my different scores. So there's the one larger score for the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that'll fit your card panel really nicely. And then the next one, I gotta look at my notes, is 3 1/4 by 5. So that next line, and then the other line is 3 1/2 by 4.7. So these are those. And so yeah, and then I kept this as a mask. So if you wanted to mask around have a nice old, you can mask around. I have that. So yeah, let's see what it looks up against some. I got some craft cardstock, hoping I get a little bit of transition. So this is a 6 by 6 craft colored cardstock, so you can kind of see it a little. I'm hopefully get it in the right angle. You can see your score lines there. Perfect. So what I did was I cut out some stitch tags. I don't know what, so I got a tag and I cut this out on my little joy, and then I had some little stitches because what I wanted to do, ooh, this white, it's white on white. Let's bring this back in. What I wanted to do was make a little wintry scene. So this works just fine for that. And that's the idea. So now I've got a nice little opening to do like a wintry scene using some silhouette stamp, some background, like some silhouette scenes. So let me pull in what I've done, and then I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay. So the result of all of this activity was to get this. These are my 4 practices. These are just me practicing and playing, because I usually don't do things like this all the time. But I really, really, really loved the loved how they all came out. Now, let me arrange it to my favorite to my least favorite. Okay, this is my favorite. This is my least favorite. Okay, there we go. And I actually, if I could recreate this guy over here, that would be ideal because I like this coloration and this. But I was just trying different stamping techniques, different areas, and then just using some different silhouette dyes. So I've used some distressed ink that I had in my stash. And I used some Versamark ink to make the black silhouettes. And then I had some acrylic paint that I splattered on with varying degrees of success because I don't do a lot of splattering of any kind. But again, I didn't have anything in mind and I really wanted to practice this and I really loved the results. And so yeah, let's pull out my other supplies so you can kind of see what I did. So I will go pull that out and we will start ink blending, which is the fun part. That's the fun part for me. So I'm gonna bring this back in for reference before I grab my supplies. So let's start with this layer here. Yeah, I'll bring it back in a little. That layer there. Grab this. Easy to point with. So for this orangey bottom layer, let me bring you down a little bit closer. There we go. I used 2 oranges. I used of distressed ink. So I used the spiced marmalade and then the carved pumpkin. So that's that layer. And then this for this pinky layer, I used, you don't have to use as many as I did. I was being extra. You could just use one of these colors. It would be fine. But since I had them, I'm using them. You know, again, here's me saying I bought it, so I'm going to use it. So I used worn lipstick. So that's distressed ink. So these are my oxides. So I used worn, you know, I hadn't thought about it, but I was including, the rest of them are oxides. Okay, so I don't have this in oxides. I'm trying to think. That's okay, I'm going to mix and match because that's what I did. Because I have these colors in distress, but I also have them in oxides. I didn't think about that I was mixing distressed and oxides together, but oh well. I try not to use the same blending brushes for the oxides. I try to keep the distress and the oxides separate, but you know, that's just how I roll. I'm a messy crafter. So this is worn lipstick, and then this is Kitsch Flamingo for that pinky layer. Move that out the way. Then for the blue layer, I just used Uncharted Mariner. And then for the, am I missing one? For the, I'm sorry, I have it backwards. So for the purple layer, it's a Villainous Potion. And I think I used Wilted Violet as well. You can use that one. And then for the black, out like right around the rim, to give it more of a dark scene, I just used some Black Soot. So I thought I had, it'd be okay. So that took care of the color. So I keep saying Versamark ink, and I keep saying that, but it's VersaFine that I used for the silhouette. Then for the, again, using what I had in my stash, I have just this chalk white paint that I mixed with a little water and flicked it on to get this layer. But I think I'm going to try the shimmer spray on this go round. Although I kind of like the flat look of the, and I could, you know, you could make more than one and it's your choice. These are my blending brushes. You need those. A little fan brush for the splatter. Then I'm going to use my Misty. Okay. So we'll do the coloring first, and then I'll do the stamping. Oh, and then for the stamps, try not to grab those. For the stamps, I have some from Gina. I have the trees, and then I have the little stag or the doe, and then the stag or the moose or whatever the heck that is. But I kind of sort of like this scene, this stamp. So this is what I'm going to be using. But you could, or I could mix it up, you know, and could use the house. Not sure about the jungle animals. But you could use the tree, just the tree line for your wintry night sky falling on the trees. So yeah. And not sure. I think I just got this off of Amazon, but I'll put a link in the description for all of the supplies that I've used today. So I said I liked this sky. Is that the one I like? Yeah, this one. So I'm going to kind of keep this in mind as my focus. So let's get started. I'm back. I've kind of cleaned up my craft space, and I'm going to just give you the two results. So I've got the first result and then the second result. Pretty much the same kind of different kind of scenes. I kind of like this one better. So this was the second one. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay. While we were where I was ink blending offline, I looked up the difference between distressed and oxide. So distressed inks is primarily a dye-based ink, creating a more translucent color, while oxides inks are a combination of dye and pigment ink, resulting in a more opaque and chalky appearance with an oxide effect when water is added. We will not be using any water on these guys on that score, but I just thought I'd owe you an explanation, because again, I probably knew it and forgot it. So let me bring in my Misty. I learned how to stamp on a Misty, so I don't know how to do the block thing, you know, so I use the Misty. So I'm going to place this in the Misty. Make sure I'm going to line it up with this grid line. Make sure I'm in full frame. So I'm going to just pick a grid line, and then I'm not going to stick it in the corner, but I'm just going to make sure I have it on that grit paper. Booyah. And so this is the stamp I chose to use yet again. Let me see. I kind of sort of like this placement. But what I'm going to do before I place the stamp, I'm going to cover up the stitching so I don't get ink on that side. And I probably should have, let me bring out my paper trimmer. So I got a mask. I'm going to close this. Move this out the way. And then I've got some Gina K Masking Magic. And I'm just going to cut some strips. Nothing fancy. Nothing too fancy. If I could cut it straight, I would. Again, we've had this conversation about me not being able to cut straight. And then what I'm going to do with this mask is I don't want any ink to get on my stitching. So I'm just going to mask it off. And I'm not trying to make a straight line. I just want to cover up the stitching. Just to keep the black ink off of it. Oh. Yeah, see, I can't cut straight to save my life. Okay, got a train going by. Okay, so that'll just take care of that. So that's like what I did to create this. I didn't use Gina K masking, I just used some mid tape. And that didn't really work so well. But what I'm looking at, so let me see. I kind of like this placement along this line, but what I want to do is try to get this part up closer. So I'm going to be really mindful of that now when I place my my scene. So you can decide how much of the tree line you want. So here's my buck and my doe, or whatever the hell they call it. And I want to make sure that I get most of my, there we go. So I'm looking at this curvature right here. And I don't know, it doesn't look bad. Can you see? So I got more of his body here. I don't think it looks bad. I just want to get like the grass kissing the edge. So we'll just call that where it's at. That's how I'm going to leave it. And so I'm going over the edge, but that's fine too. So we're going to do that. Put that away. I can reuse that mint tape. You can reuse your masking magic. I'm not that disciplined. I try to remember to use it, but I'm not that disciplined. Okay, so here we go. Whoop, stay there, stay there. All right. Oh, wow. I should have. Okay, see, I got a little ghost, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It will be fine. I'm just practicing, so I'm just gonna ink up the whole thing. I knew better. Okay. Hopefully, yeah, this is the second one. I'll get a good impression. And let's see. I'm just doing some good old-fashioned ink blending and some good old-fashioned stamping. Pretty good. I'm not gonna complain. And then I'm just trying to make sure I go over it and get good coverage, but I'm not trying to press down too hard that I'm trying to smush the heck out of this, the clear stamp. Okay, I gotta do a little bit more on that end. Now I am just using the tilting it a little just to try to get a better contact with the paper. A little bit more. Not quite. Now I'm really pushing down on that. Not quite. Not quite. All right, let me ink up this part. Like, it's being stubborn. Just try to get some more ink on that side. Yeah, I'm really pressing down on this. Not quite. Act like it doesn't want to get into that side. Gotta do some roll. No, I'm really pressing down hard on that just to get that impression. Get that ink to touch that paper. It could be where I have, I don't know. Oh, maybe it could be this too. Let's move you out the way. But I'm really pressing down hard. Almost. I shouldn't have this much trouble, but okay. I'm not gonna cry. Not too bad. Just do the rest of it. Sorry for the shaking. Bring it down a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, I got a good impression. It's good enough. I don't have a lot, like I got a little white spot there, but I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, boom. So I'm gonna take this up and then I'm gonna do the other one. Yep. And I'm gonna be very careful with the masking thing. Oh, perfect. And then I'm gonna lay that to the side, and then I'm gonna make sure that I try to get this straight again. And then this time, I'm going to get some packaging. I'm going to use some clear packaging just to keep this from getting smushed up. Let's replace it. So see, now it's on the packaging and not on my stamp. I mean on my tag. Wipe that up. Wipe that off. And then let's make sure I get it where I want it, and then I'm going to try to line it up. I got ink on my hand. Now the ink is all over my packaging, but not all over my stamp. I mean my tag, my white, nice pretty tag. I'm going to move it up just a tad, just a tad. Trying to see if that looks straight. Yep. Do that. Let me wipe my hands off because I got black ink on them. And I have learned from experience that inky can be inky, and then you get ink where you don't want it, and then you're mad because you didn't watch what was on your fingers, and then you're grabbing stuff and got ink all over your hands. So I'm making sure I get ink off my hands so I won't have any transfer. And I broke a nail. Okay. Alright, let's just lift this up. Yep. Okay, and then let's just do this again with the mask over the stitching. Keep that integrity. And it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I just move this up further up in the tree lines or the scene. So we'll just ink this up again, see if I have any better results. Sorry you can't see me snapping over there on the other side, but trying to keep you in frame. Okay, use my little smoother here. This is absolutely in. The ink blending is the thing, man. That's the thing. That's the drug. Okay, you need to stay down. I'm trying not to touch it. You need to stay down. A little bit more. Got the same problem with that in the corner. But oh well, it's probably operator error. So what I'm going to do is press down hard on the stamp. Now if you like that rusticy look, I mean there was nothing wrong with that. Okay, yeah, much better. I used my finger and got a better impression. So yeah, there we go. Boom. A little bit. But yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Cool. Okay, almost done. Let's pick that up very carefully. Lay that to the side. Let me clean off the stamp real quick. I didn't do a good job last time, obviously, because I didn't get all the ink up. But we'll try to do better today. Wipe off the ink. This was not a new stamp, so I didn't have to season it. But I am trying to wipe off some of the residual ink because I use quite a lot of ink. Probably more than I needed to. Okay, perfect. So, almost to the end. Scrap the water bottle just in case. I'm going to move this out the way just in case. Because I'm going to use my glass mat to do this ink splatters. And I'm not sure. So, let's move that out the way. So, I got this. I know you can splatter with it. So, I am going to use that first. And if I don't, I can always use this. And I just put a dab on my glass mat and add a little water and just put the little fan brush in there. And this is what I use to splatter. Whoops. So let me make sure you can see that. And then I am just making sure I don't clog up the works. So I'm running it through my hand. I did it before and I'm trying to make sure I get that shimmer. And then all I'm going to do, and I've seen this done, but I've never done it. Okay, not sure. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I've only seen it done. I don't know. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I got a big glob. I'm so mad. All right. Let's see if it'll work better if I just... Oh, there we go. I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll just try the old-fashioned way. It's not working. Oh, there it is. It's working. I can't believe I got a big ass blob. Oh my god. I've seen it done. They make it look so easy. I don't like that. I'm so mad. I like the shimmer. I'm so mad. Okay, well, that's a bust. Put that back up. Oh, I got that big ass blob. Okay, but you know, I'm experimenting, so it's just a little, it's not that bad. I'm just gonna put a little white on my thing with the fan brush. I'm gonna mix a little water in there. I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just how I did it. And last time I did it, it just did so, okay, there we go. Did so well. Okay, there we go. It's really snowing, y'all. It's snowing something. It doesn't know what it wants to do. But there we go. Can't believe I got a blob. Damn it. Blob. I'm sorry. Big blob. All I'm doing is making a hot mess. But it is working. And I'm not getting blobs. For crying out loud. There we go. I can't believe it. I got a blob. I guess I could have dabbed it up, but I'm just going to leave it like it is. It doesn't know what it wants to do. I do like the shimmer now. I'm not going to lie. If I could figure out how to get the thing to not to do a blob. But anyway, it's just me practicing. So these are the results. Let me clean that mess up before. And that's why I wanted it on my glass mat, because when it does dry, it'll just pick on up. And then I've got, this is acrylic, so I'm going to go take this to the sink really quick before it dries up on my brush. But yeah, I'm making a hot mess. We'll do that later. So, please, I appreciate your time with me today. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you have a better technique on how to do this shimmer spray blob and not get the blob, let me know. But I really appreciate you supporting my channel. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm just being modest. I'm very, very close. I would appreciate you helping me achieve that goal by taking the appropriate action. But I really appreciate your guys' support, and I will talk to you later and see you on the flip side. Take care.